Hey, Mark from Sound Matters here. Today's topic is all about storing our records for the long term and making sure that they're not exposed to any extreme moisture that might encourage mold growth. So we're going to use these very, very tiny, discrete desiccant cards and the humidity indicator card on the top here. And we're going to store that inside our record sleeve to make sure that we know that our record is in a stable environment and is not being overexposed to too much moisture that might cause issues such as mold. Let's get straight into that. Okay, so the product we're looking at today is from a company called Vinyl Storage Solutions. So we've covered a whole bunch of their record sleeves in the past. Mike over there, who runs the company, has some great innovative ideas to reinvent the vinyl record sleeve and improve those products, but has also started to branch out into other storage solutions to help safely store our records for the long term. So the stuff we're looking at today is all about moisture control, and that's in the form of these desiccant cards here and the humidity indicator card that you can see on my left here as well. So these fit very discreetly inside a record sleeve. You stick one down with tape on here. This is the desiccant card that helps absorb any moisture that may get in, and then we have our indicator card that turns pink here. This little piece here turns pink. This blue bit in the middle turns pink when we've reached 50% humidity or more, which means that we need to probably clean our record, but also swap out this desiccant card as well, because that means that this will have reached 100% of its absorption capability. This is a plant fiber based, I believe, product, so it's fully sustainable, but it's also a lot better at absorbing moisture than even something like silica gel, which, silica gel can be quite dangerous if it gets into the hands of children or pets, for example, and it's swallowed. So this is a lot safer, but also a lot more effective. It can absorb 100% of its weight, I believe. So right, why 50%? Well, at 55% or more approximately, that's when mold may start to grow in an environment. So if we get over 50% humidity or moisture within our environment where we're storing our records, then we're potentially going to run into problems. So this is a good indicator level to help protect the record and make sure that we don't get any growth of any nasty mold or mildew on that record surface that could be very damaging to our most precious record. So this is not something we're going to do to every single record in our collection, but we're going to do this to the most valuable records in our collection, those those first pressings, those difficult to obtain, those rare records. We're going to do that. We want to protect those for the long term, and this is an extra precautionary measure that we can do that's very easy to install and also extraordinarily safe, just going to give us a bit of peace of mind. So I'm going to take one of the more valuable records from my collection now, and we'll just walk through the process of how it works, the installation process. So just as an example here, I'm going to take this Regal Zonophone copy of Tyrannosaurus Rex Unicorn. So it's the early T-Rex stuff, and these are the original Regal Zonophone label records. So if you follow Sound Matters, you probably know that I do collect these Regal Zonophone copies of Tyrannosaurus Rex, and so it's valuable to me. They cost a reasonable amount of money, and they're relatively hard to get hold of in terms of the original Regal labels. So we're going to protect this record and make sure that I look after it for the long term. So the way that we're going to do that is we're also going to take one of the 3mm rice paper sleeves from Vinyl Storage Solutions. So, of course, these are a little bit like the sleeves from somebody like MoFi, but what Vinyl Storage Solutions have done is taken the popular rice sleeve and made it slightly thicker. So this is a 3mm version. They also do a 2mm version, and most products on the market that are rice paper based sleeves like this that are great for sort of storing archival quality over the long term, most of them are around about 1mm. So these are a little bit thicker and less prone to things like crumpling. So you'll probably probably find that if you're using the MoFi sleeves, as great as they do have a tendency to crumble quite a lot when you take them in and out of the record sleeve. So slight improvement in design there, again from Vinyl Storage Solutions. Mike over there is always very keen to improve on the status quo in terms of the products that are out there in the market. So anyway, we're going to install these cards. So the first thing I'm going to do is peel, what I'm going to do first is put today's date on. So today is, and take a Sharpie, and we can put today's date, which is 24th of August. And of course the year is 2021. So by doing that, because these will typically in a high humidity environment probably last around about 6 months before they need replacing, we just got a bit of a record there of when we actually did that. So I'm going to let that Sharpie drawing there dry, and whilst we're waiting for that to happen, we can install our indicator card, which is going to give us an idea as to whether we have been exposed to any moisture or not and need to replace the desiccant card that is responsible for absorbing moisture. Now, some of you may have your record stored in places like basements and may live in environments where the humidity is relatively high. So if that's the case, then this is more important than ever for somebody like yourself. You can, of course, use things like dehumidifiers in your environment to try and control and keep the moisture levels consistent in the environment that you're storing your records. So that's an extra precaution you can do, but this is just another level to give us that peace of mind. So we're going to write down in the corner of the sleeve here, we're going to tuck in that indicator card, and we're then going to press down to allow the 3M strip that's on the back of it to stick into the record sleeve. And this should be dry by now, just make sure it's not going to smudge. Yeah, that's all good. I'll just peel back again this sticky layer here, and we'll do the same in the bottom hand corner. It doesn't matter which corner you do, just so long as they're tucked right in the corner to make sure that they don't go anywhere near the record. And you really do need to use the adhesive to make sure that it doesn't move around inside the sleeve and potentially cause any scratching to your record surface. So as long as they're stuck down well, these are 100% safe and are not going to go anywhere near your record there. So there you go. It's really as simple as that. So we can now take our record and we can slide that into this sleeve. The record, you can see there, doesn't touch any of either the desiccant card or the indicator card, and we've now got that record safely sealed inside there, and it's nice and safe. But what we're also going to do, just to make sure that the record is as well stored as possible, is we're going to take one of the outer sleeves from Vinyl Storage Solutions. These are the dual pocket sleeves that they make with the resealable tape at the bottom here, and then we're going to take the outer record sleeve and we're going to pop that in here like so. Take away the protective layer that reveals the adhesive, and then we can seal up the record sleeve, but in this secondary pocket on the other side here we can insert our nicely stored record or protected record from moisture now, and just slide that in there. So we've still got access to the record. We can monitor and make sure that it's not being exposed to any extreme moisture, but we still have access to the record to play it as well. Notice how that didn't crumple anywhere near as easily as a typical MoFi sleeve might do, or anybody else who makes rice paper sleeves. There are many that make rice paper sleeves on the market. Just that being a little bit thicker is better for protecting the record, but also a nicer product to pull in and out of the record sleeve, because you get less of that crumpling that happens as easily with the thinner sort of 1mm versions of it on the market. So we've got the front, we've got the artwork protected, we've got that record in a nice sleeve, and we know we've got peace of mind, because if that turns pink in the center there, then we know we need to change out this card and perhaps give the record a quick clean just to be safe. But that extra peace of mind I think is really great. So it really is as simple as that. So just one final note on the product itself and how it comes before we wrap up for today. So in a pack like this, they come in these resealable pouches, of course, and they're very tightly sealed because, of course, we don't want any moisture getting in and spoiling the product. product before we've even got a chance to use it. But in a pack, we get one of the humidity indicator cards to every 10 of the fiber desiccant cards. So the reason for that is you don't need to place one of these indicator cards in every single one of your records that you're storing, because if they're in the same cabinet or in the same environment, then the conditions are going to be the same theoretically, so long as we store them in the same way, in the same sleeves, in the same pouches, in the same environment, in the same cabinet or shelving unit, then we can be pretty certain that the environment is exactly the same if it's in that same space. So we don't need to place one of these in every single one of the records, but we do need to place, of course, one of these absorption desiccant cards to make sure that any moisture that does get in is being absorbed, and we're protecting the record from that. So just a little note on that. Now, when you do take one out, this is the packet that I've used here. I've taken one of the desiccant cards out and I've taken the indicator card out already. You need to make sure that you reseal this pouch. If this does rip in any sort of way at all, thus allowing moisture to get in, then we need to get another one of these pouches from somewhere and seal it as best as we can. You can reuse, of course, these as well. So if it goes pink and the card indicates that it's been exposed to 50% moisture or more, then we can use a hairdryer to dry the unit out, and then we can reuse this indicator card in the future as well. So they're not just a single time use thing. And of course, these fiber based cards here are fully compostable and will not harm the environment in any way whatsoever. So it's a nice sustainable product, and doesn't cost a lot for you to do this as well. I think a pack of these, looking on the website, is a few dollars or a few pounds for a pack of these. So very cheap to do so. We can protect and store the record for the long term. And this is not something I'm going to do with every single one of my records. That would be extreme. We're not going to do that. Of course, I've got a life to live, and life is too short for doing this to every single one of our records. I mean, you can do it if you want, but I personally wouldn't. But I do think for the most valuable records in my collection, this is a worthwhile task for me to do. And particularly if you live in a very high humid environment, then I do recommend you do the best you can to avoid any moisture exposure to your records. And this is just one extra layer you can add to that protection process for peace of mind. Thank you ever so much for watching. That concludes today's topic. If you'd like to check out any of the products that Vinyl Storage Solutions make, from their inner sleeves to their outer sleeves to these desiccant cards and many other solutions for storing your records safely for the long term, then check out the link in the description below. There's also a discount code that you can use to get 10% off your order. Also, if you like the t-shirt that I'm wearing, then head over to yoursoundmatters.com to our merch store, where there's a whole load of vinyl record related merchandise, so you can spread the kind of the what I'm calling the analog revolution out to your friends and to the wider world, and help spread the good word about why music on vinyl is so fantastic. This particular t-shirt has a crate digger design on the front of it here, but there's also on the rear of the t-shirt there's a slogan that says it's not hoarding if it's vinyl. So if you like this plus the other designs that we get, we'd appreciate your support. Thank you ever so much for watching. Please like, comment and subscribe to the channel if you're new here, and we will see you in the next video.